getting closer and closer to the start. It's weird to say we're already getting closer to the start of the NBA season for next year, as we are getting schedule releases and dates kind of booked now with the NBA. So that's going to be a
statement. 2026 is flying. I know. I feel like people say that every year, but it's. I mean, the fact it's August 15th right now is kind of crazy.
Well, and not even that. Like, dude, the other day I saw a Spirit Halloween store open down here, and like, yeah, I got emails about like, hey, we're doing this trunk or treat. We'd love to have the radio station involved. I was like, dang, bro, we're essentially in Thanksgiving already. Like, we're prepping.
You even blew past Halloween. We went straight to Thanksgiving. Wow.
Well, dude, like that's what I'm saying. We're already working on turkey drives, potential things for that. I mean, I get it. You got to be ahead so that things can be sold and whatnot. But like, yeah, I mean, you know, we're at Thanksgiving, and I don't know if I've actually said it on the podcast at all, but I got a big old event happening in my world in December. So like, seeing that we're pretty much already at Thanksgiving, I'm like, oh Lord, this year's going too fast.
You just want to say it now? I mean, I wasn't gonna like your personal biz. I was gonna let you lead the way there, but you already dropped a pretty big teaser. So, like, do you want it? The floor is yours, bud.
I mean, I guess Russ is retiring, and I'm adding a second child to the. Yeah, we're gonna have baby number 2 in December, so that's gonna be wild. I'm excited because like Christmas week in theory will be like the second or third week of that kid's life. So I'm gonna do exactly what I did with Quinn, which was I'm gonna chill on the couch and I'm gonna watch a lot of NBA late nights when this kid's not sleeping. So I'm kind of pumped that I'll be able to find them all on 17,000 different streaming services, but I won't be able to watch them.
That late West Coast game is going to hit, but no, obviously, huge congrats on the podcast officially to you and Nicole and Quinny. Thanks. Of course, she's going to be a great big sister. We're super happy for you guys.
We still haven't posted about it, and I'm kind of letting my wife lead that charge because that's not really my like thing to share. So I don't know. Eventually, she's gonna post it. We did find out the other day that it's a girl. It is another girl. So you know, I am severely in over my head.
The podcast community, listen, man, look at them eating before social media. Our listeners getting the exclusives in the Cousart household.
Exclusive. Our house is already too small with one. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do it to.
Listen, man, it'll figure itself out. You guys are gonna crush it, no doubt about it. And unfortunately for our podcast listeners, that means you are gonna be stuck with me when Justin's on paternity leave for a little bit. So you know, you'll bear with me for 8 weeks in the middle of the season. Justin's gonna return when the Sixers are getting ready to hopefully go on our finals run. So
well, here's the real fun fact of it. Not to put my company on blast or anything, I only get 2 weeks, so I'll be back at the beginning of the year.
All right. Well, we can talk about obviously that your paternity leave policy doesn't apply to the podcast. So, you know, take as much time off as you need.
Here's the thing, though. If I'm I don't know if anybody knows this, but during the podcast, like we record in between 2 things I'm already doing at the station. It's kind of really convenient on my side of the world because I'm already here getting paid to do something else on a Saturday morning. And then after this, I go and do another thing that I get paid for on a Saturday afternoon. You know, I'm not a lawyer. I just play one on radio. And so
stay away from those lawyers.
Yeah.
Get them out of your life.
But so, you know, it kind of works out perfect. I have like a 2.5 hour kind of window to do something. And so the podcast fits perfect in there. So honestly, I don't want to speak for it because we'll see what it looks like when it's all said and done. But in theory, the recording time for us shouldn't have to change. But we'll see.
Either way, we're here and we're flexible, so we'll figure it out.
I'm adding a baby, and Russell Westbrook is retiring from his baby, which is the
NBA.
He
will no longer rock the baby. There we go.
Yeah,
that's why we get the big bucks here on the Drive and Dish NBA podcast or something like that. But
and he's probably like, dude, I pulled all of his numbers. Like, I can run down the awards here in a second, but he's probably one of the most statistically like accomplished guards ever. I mean,
yeah.
He was the NBA MVP in 2016-2017, 9 times NBA All-Star, 9 times All-NBA, 2-time scoring champ, 3-time assist leader, 2-time All-Star Game MVP. He was a member of the 75th anniversary team. He has 209 career triple doubles, which is an NBA record. He had 42 in 16-17, which is what everyone will bring up. That's a single season record. 4 seasons I don't think they were in a row. 4 seasons averaging a triple double. He's 5th all time in the NBA assists. He's 14th all time in scoring. He played 1,301 regular season games. He took OKC alongside Kevin Durant and James Harden to the finals in 2012. I mean, it got to a point where Westbrook was averaging triple doubles so much that I actually think it will hurt his argument for being one of the best point guards because we got so used to him doing it. So yeah, he's calling it a career. I mean, obviously Hall of Fame bound. I would be hella surprised if that's not the case. But a great career for Westbrook. Obviously a lot of internet chatter came off of this. I'll allude to that, and then I'll back off, Kev, to give you the floor to talk about it a little bit. Draymond came out and was kind of trashing NBA fans for suddenly celebrating Westbrook after trashing him for years. Austin Rivers pushed back that the lack of championship shouldn't define his career and that basketball culture is really obsessed with finding rings. Gilbert Arenas came out, argued that Westbrook's last years are going to make people look at his career differently. Then you got Jason Whitlock coming out and saying that Westbrook isn't even a top 15 guard, and that's a different take.
I'm not agreeing with anything that Jason Whitlock says. I'm going to just put that. I'm going to put a blanket disclaimer there. If Jason Whitlock says it, I probably don't agree with it.
That's fair.
Full stop.
Fair. That's fair. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, where do you see Westbrook? I think the main two things to come out is, yes, I think because Westbrook was knocking triple doubles like it was his job, even though it literally was his job, he made it so normal that we undervalue it now. And I think, the biggest argument career-wise, and it probably comes from a lack of rings for both of them, is would you pick Westbrook or Chris Paul's career path if you had the choice?
No, that last one is interesting. I'll come back to that one in a little bit because I got to think about that for a second. Because that's an interesting comparison. You're right. I mean, the fact that because it was such a big deal in 2016, 2017, especially off KD going to the Warriors, what those Russ teams are going to look like. And then Russ goes out, has this unbelievable campaign, averages a triple double, the first time since Oscar Robertson in the 70s. And then again, proceeds to average a triple double again for the next 2 years. He has that year off in Houston where he doesn't, but then that season he's in Washington with the Wizards, and they made the run as the 8th seed that he averaged a triple double during that campaign as well. From sheer statistical brilliance, it's really hard to argue against Russell Westbrook. But it is so much more than that. I mean, you talk about the athleticism, like Russell Westbrook was an absolute force in his prime. The speed in which he'd get out on transition, the violence with which he would attack the rim. Like, he is one of those guys, one of the most athletic players to ever play in the NBA. I mean, poster dunks left and right. He's got the cross and the handles. It was always let Russ be Russ was always the saying. And listen, I mean, the legacy gets a little more complicated. I think towards the end, though, I think he did a better job reinventing it a bit. I think about the season in Denver. I think about the years with the Clippers. I even think about the last season with the Kings, where it's like, look, Russ was not playing MVP Russell Westbrook level basketball, but he was a really good vet to have. He could bring a lot of energy to bench units. Like, the problem with Russ, like career wise and how it all developed, is that Russ is one of those guys who the game was so based on his athleticism because he was never a great shooter. I mean, Russell Westbrook's career high in 3-point percentage is like 30. I think he shot 35% in the one season with the Clippers, the second year or the first season with the Clippers in 2022. He shot 35% from beyond the arc, but he never was a great 3-point shooter. or just a shooter in general. The midi was there a little bit. I don't want to take that away, especially in his prime. But I think that, as the league transitioned to more of a 3-point based league and he just got older and the athleticism faded, I think that's where, of course, it caught up with him a little bit. It reminds me of the way a little bit of Dwayne Wade's end of his career looked like, where it's like, no, Russ could still contribute. He obviously was an excellent rebounder, like we said, a great vet, a good assist guy. But, a lot of those, where Russ would just pull up and take the shot early, like you get a lot less, the green light fades over time as the athleticism goes away, and you just like, it's harder to live with that. And I think, it all boils back to that Lakers tenure, right? Like that Lakers tenure is, I think, where a lot of the slander came from. And I think there's blame on both sides for that with the team and with Russ, but it was just, that year was such a disaster for everybody that, it kind of, I feel like, certainly changed the narrative around Russ for a long time. And I think now as it gets retirement, like, right, you get to have a little bit more of an appreciation for that. And you look back at his peak, because his peak was one of the most exciting ones in the NBA. Those teams were good. Like he made the finals with the Thunder with Kevin Durant and James Harden. Like those teams were back in conference finals. Even the teams after with Paul George, while a little disappointing, were certainly competitive for a while. He's a bona fide Oklahoma City Thunder legend. That zero is going to be hanging in the rafters a lot sooner than later. Listen, the end of the career shouldn't take away from how great he was and let it change the fact that, right, he's one of the best guards to ever play the game. He's a super hard worker. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's a job well done to Russell Westbrook. And I give him credit for going out on his own terms. Ironically, we did the free agent episode last week, and one of the things that, and shout out to Carlton for the surprise appearance, but like one of the things that I feel like you and I, like, we didn't talk about Russ that much, and it almost kind of worked out, like the pod gods, in the way that he decided to retire and not actually go be a free agent somewhere. Maybe he decides to come back and ring chases. Like I said, I still think he could give energy off the bench somewhere. He was productive in Sacramento. He played 64 games last year. How much high level impact is he going to have on winning? I don't know, but it'll certainly be great for your locker room still. Yeah. But I'm glad Russ went out on his terms. Hell of a career to him. Again, hats off to Russell Westbrook. We'll see him in the Hall of Fame a lot sooner than later.
I agree. I think to your point, it kind of comes down to like when Russ was young and crazy athletic, and he's doing these like painful looking dunks on people, or just like, that was awesome. Then you got MVP Russ doing it, and that was like, for other teams, probably terrifying. And then you got Russ older trying to do it while some of the athleticism was going away, starts to become an issue for the team. While turnovers were still kind of there, the jumper, to your point, never became like a reliable enough thing to compensate. And some of the decision making was still a little questionable at the end. So like, I think some of that will like be too fresh in some people's mind to fully appreciate Westbrook for the player that he is sometimes. But yeah, it is mad impressive what he was doing. And I just keep going back to saying he had 102 or 109 triple doubles. Like, that's a crazy amount of triple doubles. He had 42 in one season. Like, it's so many that it almost like kills the ability to appreciate how hard a triple double is to have. And the fact that he did 42 in one season, has 209 in his career, is crazy. So,
the one highlight I keep seeing get posted is like his number one highlight is the game winner against Denver in the triple double season to clinch everything. Falling away, banking it off and in. It's certainly hard to argue with that one.
Yeah, I think it's cool. And now, I do genuinely wonder, because if you compare Chris Paul and Westbrook's careers, they are, both amazing careers. I don't want to take away from anyone. Obviously, the reason that the comparison's made is both don't have an NBA championship.
Yeah, I think the argument for both, the more I think about it, is that it's going to come down to, like, do you want the higher peak potentially, or do you want the better career, quote unquote?
Yeah.
Chris Paul was better longer. like impacted winning, in my opinion, a lot longer than Russell Westbrook did. I mean, Chris Paul was in the finals at 35 and 36 is a huge part of that Phoenix roster. Even down the stretch with Golden State, with San Antonio, like he was still making an impact there the way that Russ was, but it was like more, you know, there wasn't that bad, quote unquote, with Chris Paul. Like it feels like every Chris Paul tenure was really productive. His season in OKC was really good. He had them over competing. Obviously, the Warriors were right there with, or the Rockets, I should say, were right there with the KD Warriors and competing. Those Lob City teams were good. God, man, it's tough. My initial lean is Chris Paul, given the longevity. But I'm not going to knock a Russ pick there too. Like you said, Russ at the peak of his powers at MVP, averaging a triple double, flying around the way he did.
Just winning.
Like, there's a good argument that Russ's peak is higher than Chris Paul's peak.
For sure. I am kind of with you though, because I feel like if you're building it, and now I take it to like a building a team thing, Chris Paul is more of like a stereotypical point guard, a facilitator. Defense, he made, what was it, 9 all defensive teams. He was 7 all defensive first teams. So like you were getting the defensive side as well from Chris Paul while he was still being the stereotypical point guard, and obviously one of the best ones. He was a steals leader 6 times. I think at the end of the day, Westbrook's high was so much higher. But Chris Paul's, from a team standpoint, even though he didn't win a championship, which I guess would be the counter argument to this, he just feels more of like that. You can build around Chris Paul as your point guard. You can build around Westbrook as your point guard too. It's just a different look. Whereas Chris Paul is more of that. You can go get a normal looking NBA team where you don't kind of have to like tweak things with Westbrook at the point guard.
You know, it's funny. They're almost kind of in the same in games played. Russell Westbrook played 1,301 career games. Chris Paul played 1,370. If we're doing pure counting stats, points goes to Russ. Rebounds obviously goes to Russ. Assists, though, it's slight edge to Chris Paul there. Chris Paul's got a higher field goal percentage. He's got a higher 3-point percentage. He's got a higher free throw percentage. He's got a higher effective field goal percentage. They're pretty equal on PER, honestly. Chris Paul's a much higher win share, if you count that. Chris Paul's win shares are 215.2. Russ's are 112.9. So that's quite a difference there. I agree. I think that Chris Paul, is a lot more plug and play. Russ is a unique skill set, especially around his athleticism. Like, not to say that you can't build the team around Russ, but like Chris Paul, I feel like you can drop into any lineup and make it work. Like Russ, you got to tailor, again, because he can't shoot the ball. Like, I'm not going to put, ideally the guard I'm going to put next to Russ, or the forwards I'm going to put next to Russ, could space the floor a little bit, because you're going to need, you don't want teams to close out.
Yeah. No, I am 100% on board with you on that one. I think I'd be interested to see if we did a poll with everybody who would pick which one, but I think Chris Paul, at the end of the day, when you look at it, would probably be the higher pick of the two.
I do got a shout out to Russ too, because Russ is responsible for one of my favorite GIFs of all time. In the when he was the post game, where I forget what they were asking him about, when he just looks up and he goes, that's pretty interesting, and then moves his head back and forth, and I'm just like, really, really still universal application meme. So I appreciate Russ for that as well. And like we said, next stop Hall of Fame for Russell Westbrook. So I'm sure we'll be covering that here in a few years, assuming, hey, who knows how many years, 5 years down the road, and we're still chugging on the Driving Dish NBA podcast. We can talk some crazy numbers then.
Could have like 6 kids at that point. Oh man, that would be a tough one.
Imagine having 4. No, never mind. I'm not even gonna put that in the air for you. Dude, welcome everybody to the Driving Dish NBA podcast. My name is Kevin Rafuse. Joining me as always, my co-host Justin Cousart.
Hold on. I gotta get to the stat that I was gonna pull up. I got distracted by the thought of 2 kids. Ooh. All right. So there was a trade yesterday from Cleveland to Charlotte. Dennis Schroeder is now joining his 12th different NBA franchise. And it's, I believe, the 9th time he's been traded. So there's a lot going on. Dennis Schroeder, the ultimate good enough that everyone wants him, but not good enough that nobody wants to not trade him. Like it's crazy. So the since 2020, it was OKC. That's where he started in 2020. He went to the Lakers 2020 to 2021, then to Boston in 21 to 22, then to the Rockets in 22, Lakers again in 22 to 23, Raptors from 23 to 24, Nets in 2024 as well, then to Golden State in 24-25, Pistons in 25, Sacramento Kings in 25-26, to then the Cavs in 26, and now the Charlotte Hornets. Wow.
It's crazy too, because before OKC, he had, 5 seasons in Atlanta. So he's had tenure in some of these places.
Yeah.
Now one officially shy of our guy, Ish Smith. Ish played for 13 NBA teams. Yeah. We said Dennis is at 12, assuming he suits up for Charlotte. But no, he, there's no indication that he won't be. And like we said, a bit of a strange career, because like Dennis Schroeder's had, he's had a 12-year NBA career now. It's not like this guy, like he's good. He's had a large career earnings. Mm-hmm. But just clearly, good enough where you're wanted somewhere, but not good enough that they want to keep you. And it does feel like, because especially these last few years, it's been just different teams. Like all these stints have been so short. Like it's not even like he plays the full season. When's the last? I'm looking. I think
Golden State, Pistons, and Kings, that was all in 25.
23, 24, he was on 2 teams. 24, 25, he was on 3. 24, 25, he legit played 23 games for the Nets, 24 games for the Warriors, and 28 games for the Pistons in the same season. This year, he played 40 games for the Kings, and he played 30 for the Cavs before getting traded. Yeah, the year before, in 23, he was on the Raptors and the Nets. The last time he played a full season for just one team was that 22. There was the second Lakers stint where he had in 22-23. He just played for the Lakers that year and no one else. And even before that, the only 2-team stint he had was the year with Boston and Houston, where he played a little bit for both. He was so bad on Boston. I thought he was going to wash out of the league when he was on Boston. Give him a little credit. He revived it in Houston and then back with the Lakers. And it's a bummer. He had that big offer on the table after the Lakers year in 20 and didn't take it. He's still made a fair amount since then. So it's not a total L, but it was like, he left like $80 million on the table. And the next deal was like close to a minimum, I remember. So kind of unfortunate, but either way, shout out to Dennis. That Charlotte jersey's going crazy. The rainbow's already been created. An Immaculate Grid darling. We'll play some of that later in the show. So we'll see if there's a Dennis connection this week. I feel like we got to use him given the recent trade.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, actually, yes, there'll be I'm looking at it right now. There will be one that we can use him on. Sadly, it won't be a team connection, so we can't even joke about it. But yeah.
No. Either way, we'll make the jokes. That's what we do here. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. I'll read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Player FM, anywhere you find a podcast, you can find us.
And we're on YouTube, Driving Dish NBA. You can find video there. Subscribe. You'll get new notifications when every episode is coming out.
Oh, word from our sponsors.
So this week, the NBA schedule was released. I don't know, Kev, if you've seen the Hawks social media video for the schedule release.
Oh shit, dude, I did. I love it. They got the Bird Kid, man. I love the Bird Kid.
That was genuinely. At first, I was like, wait, what is happening? And then I was like impressed. I'd never seen him before. No.
Oh, my God, dude. This kid is the best. He was at like a school. It was like a field trip or an assembly or whatever it was. And, dude, he just rattles off these bird calls. And they're like, it's astounding. They're so accurate.
Yeah. No, it was good. But I was like, at first, I'm like, what is this? No, and then, he starts doing some of the, he does for Miami. He does a flamingo.
Flamingo, yeah.
I was like, what is going on? So
no, I loved it. They did such a great job with that.
I feel like, and maybe I got this wrong. So if I am, check me. But I feel like the schedule release stuff is getting more and more popular because of the NFL's approach of all just the different takes on how to release a schedule. Obviously, the NBA is a little bit harder because you got 81 games, but like it's still pretty cool. I kind of enjoy it, the different takes that they do for each and every single one. So
they're definitely doing it more. Like I don't remember what was the OG sports franchise that did it. I'm kind of with you. I do feel like it was an NFL thing because the two I always remember from the NFL are when the Chargers released their schedule as an anime and just did the whole thing, and the Titans, because the Titans would go to Broadway in Nashville and they would just get people to like say the completely wrong thing about who they were going to play. And so that was always funny. But yeah, no, we're definitely seeing more. I mean, like you said, the Hawks did a great one. I love them bringing the Bird Kid back. You know, if I'm being hometown biased, the Sixers collabed with Art But Make It Sports, which I think is one of my favorite accounts on the internet. The Blazers one was awesome too. The Blazers just casually having Dame knock down 29 threes in a row to release their schedule. Like, and just a reminder that you get an NBA guy in an open gym, they're not going to miss, which is also remarkable. Like, you know, again, casual 29 3-pointers in a row, like no misses.
How much do you think they paid the Hawks kid to do that?
Dude, I have no idea. I have no remote ballpark.
I don't know either. So he's 12. The internet doesn't know, but I am genuinely curious as to how much he got paid to do that because I hope it was a lot.
Yeah, I hope it was too.
So either way, yes. We want more schedule release videos, essentially, is the point of that. So they were released on August 13th. All games are going to be watchable across a ton of different streaming services. I know Kevin's not the biggest fan of that. But no either comment. Way, it'll be, streaming schedules for Disney, NBC, Amazon, they're going to be all over the place. And before we get too far into it, obviously we'll talk about the tip-off slate. I did want to give a shout out to back in the day, anybody that's been listening to the podcast for a while, there was a point in my career where I was working on a ESPN show. I was producing a radio show here in Jacksonville that was very Jaguars specific, kind of like solidified my fandom of the Jacksonville Jaguars more than normal. Brett and Austin, they took that show when it was no longer, I guess, needed on the radio side. And man, they took it over to the TV station and they put video to it and they kept with it on YouTube. And at one point they turned it into a Roku thing. And man, Brent's grown this thing so much now that they are getting their own local TV station that you literally can get, satellite TV. I forget the channel name. I should know it off the top of my head, but they're literally getting an Action Sports Jacks TV station. And the reason I bring that up is because they were just officially announced in Jacksonville as well as Orlando, our company, Orlando and Charlotte all got NBA deals. So his TV station that he's now launching with 24/7 local Jacksonville, Northeast Florida sports is also going to be running, I believe, all in parentheses 70 Orlando Magic games for the Jacksonville area, which is so cool to see. And bro, that is such if you go back to Brent's idea for this whole thing, when it started on ESPN, it was just an idea for a radio show with a way to have video to it. I had a little part in helping getting the video part going, but the way they've grown it is so cool. So super pumped for them to have that and kind of jealous at the same time, but
shout out to the guy. I mean, you love to see a plan come together.
Dude.
Brent's been doing this for a long time.
And he's had this vision, and it's just like, there were a lot of people that didn't see the vision, and here we are. So it's cool to see that it's got there.
Well, and Brent's a good dude. Like, forget all. Obviously, we're happy with the success, but that's what it boils down to me. When I worked with Brent, I was very young. I mean, I was like 22 to 24 years old, like a fresh out of undergrad, working for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Brent was always a friendly face. He was, definitely very helpful early on. So I always appreciated that, giving me the time of day. So I'll always definitely be grateful for there. Love to see the success. Hope we get to see more of it.
Yeah. I'm excited to check it out. So, I won a TV at our company's Christmas party last year.
Sick.
And I only bring that up because I have nowhere to put it, because I was going to put it in the guest room, but that is now going to be baby number two's room. So I have
They hold the TV there?
Well, listen, the kid don't need no TV. Like, that'll be a whole issue. So now what I'm debating is I have a spot that I could mount it on my porch, like our back patio, or I could mount it in the garage and try to do a little pseudo man cave in the garage. And so I've been trying to figure out which one will be the better one to do. But bro, this thing is like a 55-inch TV. Like I wish I could put it somewhere else than like in the garage or on the porch. So, but it'll be nice, and that's why I'm like kind of excited about this. Is I can just get one of those little plug-in antennas for the TV, and it's one of those smart TVs. So I'll be able to get, as long as I got Wi-Fi, I'll be able to get the station. So like, honestly, I could do a ton of watching of basketball and obviously NFL and stuff in the garage. And
your favorite team, the Orlando Magic.
I know. I joked. So I sent Brent, hold on, I forget who it was, because I wanted to send him the Orlando Magic, the song. I wanted to send that
of course,
when I saw the announce, because they sent it internally before going public with it. And so I wanted to send that to him, but I couldn't find a way to do it. So I just found it's just like Paulo doing like a shimmy. So I just sent that to him, and he just wrote back, "Let's go." And then we were talking about the podcast, and I joked. I said, it's good stuff, even though they're not going to win, because the 76ers are going to run the table with the NBA this year. And he goes, "I bet you're excited about that." I said, "They just need to add TJ McConnell, and I'll be the most excited."
I mean, listen, hey, man.
But that goes back to
come home, TJ.
That goes back to a joke from our show back in 2019, where we were talking about the 76ers and star power. And I said something along the lines of local Philly 76ers fans love TJ McConnell. And Austin ran with it, me saying that he's a superstar in the NBA. So he like bought me a Pacers TJ McConnell jersey for my birthday one year once he was traded. So it kind of became a running joke with the podcast. So that's why I sent that to him. But yeah, I did tell him I'm kind of weirdly not trying to be. I just think I am an Orlando Magic hater. So
TJ McConnell made me think of this, but did you see Halliburton's reaction to the Pacers opening game?
No.
Hallie's on a podcast. I forget which one, but he's not. It might have been his, honestly. But like, I don't remember. Like, he basically was like, "Hey, I just was in the finals last time you saw me in a game 7, and here's my first game back, and you guys opened me on the road in New Orleans." Like, he clarified. He's like, "Shout out to my guy Trey Murphy," but like, wow, okay, I see what it is, and it's like. He's not wrong, really. I mean, I'm not saying they were going to be the national game, but like, yeah, man, you got the Pacers open up against the Pelicans on the road with Hallie first game back. That is kind of crazy when you look at it.
Well, and I'll bring up some games. I literally wrote next to the games that I kind of don't care about in some of these features that we're going to talk about here. So for full transparency, we're going to talk tip-off, Christmas, MLK, Global, and then like final week games. So to kind of get into it, the tip-off on Tuesday, October 20th.
Happy birthday to me. Let's go.
Yeah, listen,
I got LeBron's debut on my birthday. We're so back. We are unprecedented levels of back, Justin.
I saw the tickets for that game were not cheap. Insanely expensive.
I'd say the least.
The Knicks are going to be, the Knicks are going to be putting the banner up. LeBron's going to be there. Like, that is not a cheap ticket. They knew what they were doing when they did that. So the tip-offs are Boston and Detroit at 3. You got Knicks and Philly at 7. You got San Antonio Spurs, OKC at 9:30. And I'll say chef's kiss, like that. I don't think you don't need to change anything. If anything, the Boston Pistons would be the only one to potentially talk about changing. And I don't think you need to change it. I am fine with these 3 games. They're perfect. You got San Antonio going up OKC so that Wemby can actually absolutely destroy Chet. And then we have that to talk about all season, which won't get annoying at all. You got Knicks 76ers, which is obviously a 1-in matchup with the Knicks trying to run it back and Philly having this essentially super team now. And then Boston and Detroit. Detroit, the best record-wise in the East last year, and Boston going to look a little bit different, but you got a healthy Tatum back. Like, that'll be a good game as well.
Yeah, I'm same boat as you here. The NBA got it right. I think these are the right matchups. I don't think you want to give, while Knicks Spurs was an awesome final, I do think you save that for a little bit. I think they did a good job pushing that to Christmas instead of opening night. Right. Super competitive Western Conference Finals. Feels like there's a lot of bad blood there. No easy no-brainer to put them on national TV the first night, especially with Wemby. Sixers Knicks
with like somehow incorporating maybe the Heat in there, see the new look Giannis. But again, now we're getting picky, and like I don't think we need to get picky. And with it being a 3:00 game, I feel like it has to be the East Coast just because
it's got to be an Eastern team. And so if you swap I actually think that's a great point. If you were going to swap somebody in, it would be Miami, just with Giannis again, new star in a new place, kind of the way with LeBron is in Philly, with JB in Philly.
Weirdly enough, I'd be fine flipping out the Celtics for the Heat. Heat Pistons.
I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at them having either the Celtics or the Pistons there, though. Like you said, the Pistons #1 overall record in the East last year, have a star in their own right in Cade Cunningham. We'll see what happens with the Durin situation as well. But like, again, a team that they deserve that look after last season, the way it went. Boston is Boston. They're always going to get a little bit of the bump just by being one of the more premier franchises. But like you said, a lot more intrigue there. New look with Paul George, Jason Tatum fully back, kind of with a full off season of recovery under his belt. Yep. Interested to see what that looks like.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I think if you're trying to change anything, you're getting a little nitpicky. And really, I think the only correct answer is maybe flipping out the Celtics for somebody. And I feel like that somebody might be the Heat just to see Giannis in a Heat jersey early. But I don't think it's not a big deal in my mind.
The Cavs, I think, too, are the other one in the East. Too, if you're going to have beef, it's the Cavs.
But if you can't flip out, the problem is you can't flip out the Pistons. They were just the #1 team record-wise in the East last year. Like, you can't flip them out. Yeah, so it's got to be the Celtics. Yeah.
The argument for flipping the Pistons out is that they got bounced in the second round. The Cavs are in the conference finals. That is the argument if you're going to have that for flipping them out. Again, we're super nitpicking. I'm not mad at all with Detroit there.
Yeah, but then at that point, just flip them out with Boston. Put them.
No, same argument applies with Boston.
Yeah. So all right. So then we jump over to the Christmas Day games, which I really only have beef with one game in this matchup, and I kind of already talked to you about it. But we got a good slate here. You got Knicks, Spurs, Madison Square Garden kicking it off at noon. Love that. It's also worth mentioning there's some football games going on this day too, so it is gonna be a whole day of just sports. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna have a kid that is gonna be like 3 weeks old and definitely needs to stay on the couch, and I will for sure be signing up to just sit there and cuddle this 2-week-old baby girl and watch a dumb amount of sports and with an asterisk, with the ability to remove this if I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Sports bet the whole time. You got Knicks, Spurs at Madison Square Garden at noon. You got Heat, Celtics. I love it at 2:00. 76ers, Lakers. I love that too. You got Thunder at Timberwolves as the 8:00 game. Then you got Nuggets at Warriors at the 10:30 game at night, which is really the only one that I'm kind of like, meh, I don't really care about Nuggets, Warriors out of all of this. I also, before we get too far past it, it was brought up that this is the first time the Lakers don't get an NBA tip-off game in a while, and it's the first time LeBron left. So that's worth bringing up as well. But
yeah, I love everybody that's like, wow, they're letting LeBron go home for Christmas. That's so nice of them. I love the Sixers. The Sixers schedule analysts are like, oh, they already got him a game in Phoenix, and they've got a big road trip where they're off for. So it's like, all right, so LeBron's gonna play on Christmas, and then we'll see you again for 10 days. All right,
bro. He literally called. He called up the NBA office and was like, look, this is what's gonna happen. I want to go back to LA.
No,
Like,
I'm good with all the matchups, like you said. But Boston and Miami is a good East Coast matchup. The finals rematch is a no brainer. I mean, the biggest argument against Warriors and Nuggets is that the Warriors in particular, I don't think are going to be very good this season. It's also like, hey, it's a West Coast game at 10:30. You've got Steph Curry, you've got Nikola Jokic. Like those are two premier NBA talents. We want to showcase those guys, and that's what I think it all came down to. I would have personally, because what's the game before that? It's Minnesota and
Timberwolves. Oh no, yeah, Timberwolves and Thunder, which I'm fine with. But
I'm fine with that too. I mean, I guess they've done the matchup a little bit to death recently, but like I wouldn't have been mad if you had Minnesota and Denver either and have that be. It feels like there's a little more spice there.
I guess my question is like, what about the Rockets? Like they won 52 games last year, and
yeah, but they weren't very good. They got bounced in the first round. I know Kevin Durant's still there,
That's
but
my
it's like
point. It's like, why not like Nuggets Rockets then? Like I just the Warriors thing feels like it's just because they're trying to give Curry some TV time.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yes, 100%. No, I don't.
But honestly, I prefer the Suns.
They want KD more, or they want Steph more.
I would literally, out looking at the Western Conference for those finals, excluding the teams that are already playing that day, I would literally rather have the Houston Rockets there, potentially the Suns, the Clippers, and maybe even the Trailblazers at that point.
Oh, you're wild for the Clippers and the Blazers. That's crazy. I respect you stepping out on the ledge, but you're wild for that
one.
Come
on. Like, look, I would rather see those teams go. The Warriors didn't even break 40 wins last year.
No,
like, what are we doing?
With you. The Warriors are the team if you're going to beef with somebody. OKC's got to be there. I have no issue with that. I'm fine. Minnesota's with LaMelo and Ant, I think, is super appealing. You've got the Spurs there.
Give me Nuggets Warriors. Give me Jokic versus Durant. Like, just give me that as the 10:30 game, and we're fine.
Okay, I mean, all right. I'm not going to be too mad at that. I don't agree necessarily, but I do think the Rockets will be better, hopefully for their sake, than the Warriors last year. I mean, the Rockets are such a weird team, but I think in hindsight,
where are we at with what was Van Vliet? Like we never really saw the full Rockets capabilities last year.
And that I think is where I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Is I think, and we talked about it real early before the season last year, but I really underestimated how much they were going to miss Fred Van Vliet or just having a traditional point guard in general.
Yeah.
And from a leadership perspective, I think that part was undersold a little bit as well. I'm still intrigued, but like Houston's a little more in the prove it category for me going into this season than some of these other teams out west are. Either way.
But like, I guess my point is like, how low does the NBA feel about the Rockets? Because the first time we see them on like a bigger game, we get into the MLK Day games, and bro, you got them up against the Grizzlies. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, pretty low, honestly. Though they lost in the first round last year to a Lakers team that didn't have Luka Doncic, so it's like they are a little bit in prove it mode. That team didn't like. There was no excuse for them to lose that series last year. That's a statement losing series.
But like the Grizzlies, you're putting them at the 7:30 game on MLK Day. Like the Grizzlies, I don't know, man. I just feel like they got better options than that for the full MLK Day slate. We've got Pistons, Cavs kicking it off at noon. That's a good one. I'm about that. Hawks, 76ers. I'm still okay with that. I think the Hawks are going to be a good team this year, and I think it could be a fun matchup to see. Timberwolves, Knicks at MSG. That'll be a real good one. Big star power there. That's the 5:00 game. And then, like we were talking about, Grizzly Houston at the 7:30 game just feels a little like if you're talking about all these teams, I feel like once you mention the Grizzlies, you're like, Grizzlies
on MLK Day, though, it's different, though. That's the only thing I will say is it's different because there's a historical element, and I think you have to weigh that in. It's important. Memphis, one of the I mean, literally, like that's what it comes down to.
I know. Because, I mean, you look at it, they won 25 games last year. They lost 57 games. Like, that's the part that I'm like, I get what you're saying. It's just like, okay, fine. So then you get into the global games, NBA Paris games. Even those I feel a little weird. Like, I get it. Spurs, let's do it. Wemby, makes sense. But, like, the Pelicans, like, you can't send them a better opponent. Like, come on. Like, dude.
NBA is going to. I mean, listen, the NFL with your Jags back in the day when the Jags always stunk, they
Yeah.
sent the Jags to London. That certainly feels like we're doing now. You're sending the Pelicans
That's
to
what I'm saying.
France.
It's like,
They deserve
again,
better than that.
I agree. And to that, actually, the game
I
for
mean,
the
I guess if
Jags,
they want to guarantee Wemby a victory, that's a good way to do it.
pretty much. I think that's what it feels like, honestly. But it's also worth mentioning that the Jags game this year, their home game or away game, is against the Eagles,
No,
which would be a cool
they play
one.
the Eagles. It's like week 6, I
Um,
think.
It's so funny because I think I've talked about this already, but my family back home wanted to go. There's no way I'm going to be able to do it. I have another child on the way. I don't have money. But but to that, like, my family was like, it's really not much more expensive than going to an Eagles game in Philly. Like,
You're not wrong. Probably high key these days. You're probably not wrong.
I was like, see, that's the problem is I can go to a Jags game for like $45. So like, flying to London's a little hard on the bank on that one. So I do have some family and friends actually going. I'm jealous and I wish I could go, but I think it'll be pretty cool for them. So
no,
that's besides the point. The other thing that's worth mentioning, there's going to be a Manchester game, and that's going to mark the NBA's first regular season game in England, or Manchester, England. So that's pretty cool too. Final weekend of the regular season has not been scheduled for the second to last day of the regular season, and all 30 teams will be in action on the final day, which is April 11th. Gives us a little bit of wiggle room. I like that because they can kind of set some matchups that I think will be important to have and kind of be cool to see. So
yeah, exactly. Get the seating in the right place. Make there hopefully be something to play for. Again, keeping it competitive, which that will be the thing. I mean, with the tanking new rules in place this season too, there will be a lot more incentive to keep competing late. So we'll we'll make it more entertaining down the stretch.
Agreed. And then the only other part to bring up is obviously the NBA Cup. The tournament is going to be going on throughout the season. I believe it's different Fridays if I have that correct. Bro, the first thing I want to bring up, though, and really this is probably all that we have to talk about the NBA Cup, East Group B, y'all really had to put all them together.
Crazy, dude. What are you doing? You're knocking like a couple of the favorites out. What's it? It's like Sixers, Knicks, Heat, Cavs, and
Pacers. It is Knicks, Cavs, Sixers, Heat, Pacers.
What are you doing? Like how is that the group right there?
East A is Pistons. So that's fine. I'm cool with that. Then you got the Raptors, Bucks, Orlando, and Brooklyn. And then
are you kidding? How is that a group? And then you got that other group.
And then East C is Celtics, Hawks, Hornets, which those three.
No, that's fine. That's much better than that other one. That other group is a tragedy.
Yeah, you're telling me you couldn't pull like
you put the Bucks and the Nets in the same group.
Yeah, you couldn't pull. I mean, technically, they put Bulls, Wizards in C. You couldn't pull one or two of each of those and flip around in East B just to give it like some of your bigger guys. Like
you have the last two conference champions in the East, plus the Sixers with Jaylen Brown and LeBron James, and plus the Heat now with Giannis in the same group. It
should have been like Knicks. Like Knicks, you should have tried to pair at least two in each division, right? Like, don't get me wrong. The Hawks and the Hornets are great. Orlando, they're fine. They're good to be in where they are, but like you could have flipped in a few different things, and we don't know what the Raptors are going to look like with this Kawhi stuff. Like we don't know, but like you could have moved some, like Bucks, Brooklyn, Bulls, Wizards. Like two of them should go into East B, and you should pull someone out to go in. I'm fine having like three legitimately better teams and then like two-ish not great or lesser expectation teams. But yeah, you threw a gauntlet at B. And then even on the West, it doesn't really look like they have one that's like too much of a gauntlet. West A is going to be Nuggets, Rockets, Suns, Mavs, Jazz. West B is Thunder, Timberwolves, Clippers, Pelicans, Grizz. West C is Spurs, Lakers, Trailblazers, Warriors, and Kings. So that feels a little more spread out. It's just East B is like, balanced. What are you doing?
I don't know how they do this, but like, NBA's gotten a little. It feels like they've gotten creative with ping pong balls at times before, so they could have gotten a little creative here.
Yeah, it just feels a little top heavy on East B, in my opinion, but whatever.
Yeah, to say the least.
What also is interesting is like I don't know. Didn't the Pacers win it the year Hallie was healthy 2 years ago? They win the whole.
They were close. They were in the. I think they went to the finals.
that would have been 24,
the NBA Cup. The Knicks won last year.
Lakers?
The Bucks won the year before that with Dame, I think.
Didn't the Lakers won the
OG. Lakers beat the Pacers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Lakers in 2023, Bucks in 24, and Knicks last year.
Okay, for some reason I thought Pacers got it at one point. They must have gone far or something, but yeah. I don't know. It just feels top heavy, and I guess we can leave it at that and move on.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to who's balling, who's falling. Our NBA version of the stock market. We always start with the good before the bad. Balling for me this week, I've got Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett is getting his number retired. Is 21 in Minnesota, in a game, of course, fittingly against the Celtics. It's going to be February 28th is the game. The Celtics retired his jersey in 2022. I mean, this is a no-brainer, obviously. Kevin Garnett is clearly the best franchise player in Minnesota history. There was a little bit of a difficulty with the relationship. There was fallout with him and Glenn Taylor. And so he basically said, I'm not getting my jersey retired. We got to fix this first. Things have been fixed. He's a team ambassador now. And so, his 21 is going to be where it belongs. It wasn't right to not have it up in the rafters there.
Yeah, I agree. Good for him. And to your point, I was like, what the hell took him so long? And obviously there's a little bit of a backstory, but definitely deserves to have it up there. And it's exciting to see that they're finally going to get it done.
Yeah. Kind of notable that both KG's retirement, because it's like he's ending the rift with Minnesota, and his Celtics one. The notable one about that is that's when Ray Allen and him reunited for the first time in a while. Like, obviously the beef from when Ray left Boston and went to Miami. So just kind of an interesting fun fact there. But
yeah. All right. My Ballin is gonna go to Brandon Clarke's estate, I guess we'll put it at that. There was a pretty crazy report out saying that since Brandon Clarke passed away, that his money from his contract wouldn't be paid out. And so it has come out, NBA sources are confirming that Brandon Clarke's contract was protected for death, which I guess is very common in the NBA to have. And so that the $12.5 million is expected to be paid through full in life insurance. So that's good to know that the family's still gonna hopefully have some money to help them get through everything. The death is still pretty fresh. I mean, it only happened in May, so can't be easy, I would imagine.
Yeah, 100%. Rest in peace to Brandon Clarke. Right. When this story came out, it seemed like they weren't going to get the money, and it kind of wasn't a great look for the Grizzlies, to say the least. A multi-billion-dollar franchise not being able to pay this out, obviously, in a tragic situation. I certainly think there are scenarios where you probably shouldn't have paid it out, but this is not one of them. Yeah. I'm glad that his family will get that. Obviously, of course, nothing fixes what's happened, but that way you can get a little bit of peace there, and it's a good look for, I think, the Grizzlies as a franchise to not be holding out on that. That would not have been the best look, to say the least. Even if they would have had a potentially valid contractual reason, listen,
it feels rough.
Ethics come into play here too at some point. So. All right, falling for me this week is the Lakers sale, which I guess is super balling for Mark Warner. The Lakers sold to Josh Kushner and Bob Iger, the former Disney CEO, for $12.5 billion, obviously setting a record there. We're now Mark Warner only had the Lakers for a year. We're 2 years now being removed from the Buss family. And look, this could have been a whole podcast in itself. I almost debated saving this for next week and not relegating it to who's balling, who's fallen, but I don't know. There's just a lot of this feels weird, to say the least. A part of it is still with the fact that it's weird to me that the Buss family isn't running the Lakers still. Just full stop, given everything that they had done there since the 80s. Mm-hmm. It's a quick change of hands, and listen, it feels very fitting in today's society of trying to squeeze value out of everything and high profile quick transactions where your head is spinning before you even realize what happened. I don't know. Sports teams are different though, man. They have like it's not just an asset to trade around. Like you have such a unique relationship with the community, and for it to get tossed around, and especially with, because if that's happening to the Lakers, who are truly
Right.
like, you can't get a much more marquee brand in the NBA than the Los Angeles Lakers in terms of household recognizability and everything else. Especially while this is happening, while your former owner is under federal investigation, and your current owner by family has certain ties to the administration, and let's just say it's very convenient timing for a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's all happened so fast that I don't feel like I've truly had it like enough time to think about it. Like, Mark Warner needed money, and then here it is. But the fact that, again, this got done in a weekend, basically, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, and it feels gross. This feels like a billionaire's game, which is currently dominating the large portion of our discourse these days.
And it went fast, to your point, like really under the radar fast. And so that's kind of weird to see. But
again, for the Lakers, like the Lakers,
no, yeah,
the marquee NBA franchise.
yeah, I
don't know. I don't like it, Justin.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it could be a sign of more to come, but I guess the only thing we can do is wait and see, because I know I'm not going to be one that's able to buy them.
I'm sorry. I did not expect that to be the ending to that.
You think I'd be able to buy one? Yeah, shoot. I mean, what, 12 billion? How many? I could do math with my salary right now.
We just could cut coffee out though, and we'd be able to afford it. If we stopped going out to dinner, we would definitely be able to afford it.
Yeah, well, how much is what? My coffee order is usually $6, so 12 billion divided by 6.
Yeah, come on, we'll get there. We got it. No, it's what every millennial's got to do, man. Just pull yourself out of your bootstraps and be all right. All right, who's falling for you this week?
6. So hold on, I gotta find. Oh, good, 2 billion. I just need to. Yeah, we'll be fine. How long? Okay, we'll be fine.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah,
great. I'm glad we figured it out.
2 billion coffees would be okay. All right. So my Fallin, and it still sits on money. So we're gonna stay in this depressed state. Sorry, guys.
No, let's get based. I'm so down.
Is Willie Cauley-Stein, who was just recently on a podcast, talking about his career and stuff like that, and he was saying he regrets not being more of a businessman in the NBA. He says not staying at those little parties. I needed those relationships back in the day that I didn't really take advantage of. I'm only 32. I should still be playing. My house is foreclosed on, and I'm living month to month. That business stuff matters. Which is super upsetting and depressing to hear that he's, foreclosed on a house and he's living month to month for a player that really had 7 years in the NBA. Played 422 games, 4 years with Sacramento, 3 years with Dallas, 1 year with Golden State, and then 2 games with Philly. Is out here foreclosed on a house. So it just goes back to the money talk of like, that's a bummer. And, it's a story we do hear from higher profile sports guys, that the money, while they're pulling in a decent amount of money while they're there, like I'd be interested to see his career earnings obviously can go quick. And if you don't have it set right, then you're not going to have yourself set for life after basketball in this case.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the lifestyle creep is real. I think there's a lot of people who obviously go, how can you blow that amount of money? And look, I'm not going to defend it. It's certainly irresponsible if you have. There are plenty of people who have never seen anything close to that amount of money in their lifetime.
His career earnings.
I mean, it's sad with Willie Cauley-Stein too, because he dealt with just drug addiction for a while. That was towards the end of his career. Is like he admitted that he was dealing with some drug issues off the court, and so I think that it felt like his mental wasn't in the place where it needed to be, and I think that's bigger than any reason why he kind of washed out of the NBA. Obviously never really quite lived up to the hype when he was drafted in Sacramento, bounced around for a few years, but he played himself into a role in Dallas. Right. Like I think a part of it just kind of, part of it was his game aging out. I know he was overseas for a little bit as well.
Yeah,
Um,
his salary from the NBA career earnings, which they have in parentheses, maybe incomplete, was right around 25 million,
yeah, I
almost
mean,
26. Yeah.
it's crazy because like there's the Mavericks waived him in 2022 for
Mhm.
Marquise Chris, and that's just like such a throwback like transaction of like guys that we thought might be something that didn't end up really being something in the league. But I mean,
Yeah.
listen, man, I hope Willie Cauley-Stein gets his head on straight. I hope he continues to do. I mean, I hope he does better and is able to figure it out. I'm glad he realizes these things now. There's
And
never
to
there's,
that,
there's always an opportunity to turn it around.
well, and to that, yeah, he's only 32. I mean, shoot, there's a lot of time left.
A lot of people doing way worse at 32 years old and who have made something of their life and turned it around. So right, like you said, plenty of time. Obviously not the way that you would have wanted things to go, but still,
Mhm.
like you said, there's plenty of opportunities to it. Just one day at a time. At this point,
If
got to turn it
if
around.
if you had to guess Willie Cauley-Stein career high points, what do you think he had?
Did he have a random pop off game? Oh God,
Yeah.
he didn't have a 50 banger, did he?
No, not that high.
Okay.
What he did, was it a triple double?
What do you
No,
have
it
like
was a
30? What do you have like 35?
he had 29.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I
29
mean,
points, 10 rebounds off yeah, that was with Sacramento, by the way, over
yeah.
a win in Denver in 2017. But he had a few 26 games, but 29 was his
I
highest.
mean, he was all NBA rookie team or second rookie team. I mean, he only played in the playoffs that one year with Dallas in 2011.
Yeah.
But
Interesting. Hmm.
either way,
There
we'll
you
see.
go. Hopefully he gets right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing that matters. But all right, should we play some grid? Of
Surely grid up.
course, for the Immaculate Grid, I guess, what am I trying to say? If you want to watch the Immaculate Grid, is what I'm trying to say. You can do that on YouTube. Just search Driving Dish NBA podcast. Before our podcast listeners, our rows or our columns from left to right this week are the Milwaukee Bucks, 10,000 career rebounds, and born outside the U.S. 50 states and D.C. Our rows from top to bottom, the Golden State Warriors, the Dallas Mavericks, and 10 points per game per season. Justin, we've mentioned Dennis Schroeder. I'm assuming the connection is 10 a game and born outside the US, right?
I think that's our only option. Yeah. Sadly, I think that's our only Dennis
Yeah.
Schroeder option.
Amazingly, with his 12 teams, I don't think he played. Yeah, no, it is none of those teams.
Yeah.
10 points a game. I mean, 0.5% though. It's a good spot for him. Yeah, our
Yeah.
guy there. I mean,
For
he's had
sure.
he's had a great NBA or international career, I should say, with Germany.
Yeah.
Obviously Eurobasket champs over there as well. So
Mm-hmm.
just like
Mm-hmm.
right, like Dennis Schroeder, like Ish was always a borderline roster guy, so it made sense. Like Dennis Schroeder gets real
He's
minutes on a lot of these
yeah.
teams.
Yeah, no, he's always in the mix. It's always he's always the one that's good enough to be on the team, but they're too willing to trade him, I guess. It's such a
Yeah.
weird little phenomenon there. All right. So then looking at it for Mavs born outside the US, I got three that just popped in my head
You got a few big ones there to say the least.
yeah,
So
between Dirk, but I was thinking of Turkoglu and I was also thinking of Porzingis. I think
yeah.
all three would work. I guess probably Turkoglu would be the less of the three. Unless you got another one in the chamber that you think would be less than all of those.
I don't think people associate. Wait, when was Turkoglu on Dallas?
Who I remember him from NBA 2K, so it has to be sometime between 2010-ish and 14, because that would have been when I was at Flagler. I just remember he never missed threes.
He didn't ever miss threes, but like dude, I don't remember because 2010 he was in Orlando because he was on the team that went to the finals.
Yeah, wasn't he before Orlando? Wasn't he on the Mavs?
I don't think so, dude.
Hmm. Okay.
I'm not like I'm. He
Oh,
might have been, but I'm not 100% there at all.
okay. All right. I'll back off him then.
I mean, I'm trying to think of other guys like recently,
Luca.
other than
Luca.
um. Well, yeah, I mean, Luca Dirk are the obvious
Yeah.
ones. Porzingis with Latvia. I mean, Loki JJ Barea with Puerto Rico because it's born outside U.S. 50 states and
JJ's a good one.
D.C.
Yeah.
Um, they've had other foreign guys though too. Like I'm trying to think of like I'm trying to think of somebody off the bench for Dallas that
um. Hmm. What about back in the day?
oh Steve Nash too. That's
Oh
another
yeah,
obvious one.
Nash worked. Rondo was U.S.
Yeah, Rondo's U.S.
Oh, Kyrie's Canada, right?
Oh yeah.
Kyrie's Canada. And then like did Okafor go there? Was Okafor outside the US? Jaleel?
I don't think he went there or was outside the U.S.
I didn't think he was I thought he went there, but I didn't think he was outside of the US. Um all right. Well,
I mean, Loki isn't he hasn't suited up yet, but they just traded for Reese Shea. That would work.
he hasn't played yet, right?
Yeah, no bueno there. Um, yeah, I'm trying to I know I'm kind of dragging this one.
Hmm. Well, we also got to make sure we don't use anybody that would potentially work for 10,000 rebounds, although I don't think we have.
I mean, Dirk would work for 10K rebounds. I don't think
I
there's
feel
anybody
like
else beyond that.
I feel like not like Chandler or anything like that.
I tell you, I don't think he was born outside the U.S. though.
No. I mean for 10,000 rebounds.
Um,
You think Chandler had 10? He had to have, right?
oh, Tyson Chandler? Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think Tyson. Yeah, I
Okay,
think Tyson
yeah.
Chandler. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, I absolutely think Tyson Chandler had 10 a game. I think he was right around 10, but I think he had 10
Yeah.
a game.
I feel like born out. If we go out of the ones we've said, I feel like Porzingis is probably the lowest, or JJ.
No, oh yeah. Kyrie would weirdly maybe be low, but I think he might not.
Just to
Know who
there
just
now,
dawned
yeah.
on me? Who what
Dennis
is his name?
Dennis Schroeder didn't play there, right? Because
No, Dennis didn't play there. No, just because he came off the bench there recently. Dude, Dante Exum. Dante Exum was born in Australia.
Oh wow, yeah, Dante. Yeah, Dante. We could do Dante.
I think he might be lower. I think he'll be lower than Porzingis.
Dante's a good one. That's a good call. Yeah.
Nice. I want to know the percentage on Kyrie because I feel like people forget that with Kyrie.
Yeah.
Um.
Okay, so if we want to finish out born outside the U.S. for Warriors, who do you want to go with? I mean, Scola Scola is for outside the U.S., right? And he was on the.
I don't remember
Warriors.
Scola was there, but he was outside the U.S. I mean, the ones that come to mind recently, the ones that come to mind recently. Oh, Zaza, that's the one I'm blanking on.
Oh, Zaza might be who I was thinking of.
The other one, was recent, but because he was on the team recently, who I just 100% know is Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield is from the Bahamas.
Oh, Buddy Hield would be a good one. You want to do Buddy?
I feel like Buddy will be low. I mean, maybe he's recent, but like, yeah, Buddy was from the Bahamas.
2%. We're good.
2%. All right,
I just
cool.
don't think people would have associated being outside the U.S. more than being on the Warriors.
I saw such a disrespectful Buddy Hield edit recently to the point where I was like, who made this Buddy Hield edit? And it is legitimately I think it's 2.5 minutes of Buddy Hield hitting shots to cut his team's deficit down to 27 points or something like that. And I'm just like, why is there a 2.5 minute montage of this?
Why are you doing this? Yeah.
Who thought of this? Like,
oh man,
insane work. But all right, 10K we'll knock out real quick. Tyson Chandler, like, I mean, for 10 and 10, we have all the options in the world.
Yeah.
For Mavericks, it's Dirk and Tyson Chandler that come to mind right away.
DeAndre Jordan.
DeAndre Jordan's a good one for the Mavs. Yeah, he definitely works there.
Did Boogie play? Boogie was on the Warriors,
he didn't suit up though, and I don't think he has 10K either way. The Warriors, the 10K for the Warriors, it's probably going to be the number one is Wilt, I would imagine. Outside of Wilt,
who else?
God, I'm like,
did Varejao went to the Warriors after the Cavs?
Yeah.
Do we think he has 10?
No, Justin. No, not remotely. If he has 5, I'll be stunned.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up. Varejao rebounds. Let's see.
There's no way he has anything close to 10.
Come on.
No way. Like I said, he may not have 5.
Varejao. Here are your stats. Let's go. Let's see. Basketball Reference. Varejao played 632 games. His total rebounds is at. Where is it? Total rebounds is at 4,500. All right, you're right. Oh wait, hold on. No, that was with the one. Oh no, that's everybody. Yeah. He had 77 rebounds with Golden State total.
That's so funny. All right. Dude, I'm kind of stumped beyond Wilt. That's crazy. Like, I'm trying to think if they had any like late big men in their career that were washed, and I just can't think of a single one.
Watch there be like 14 that work.
No, I'm sure. Well, the Warriors have existed for a long time, so I'm sure it will. But I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we do Jordan for Mavs 10K just to get another one on the board? You want to do that?
Yeah, I think DeAndre is going to be lower than Tyson Chandler is, and I think DeAndre is going to be lower than Dirk is, definitely, for sure.
100%. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a lot of options there, frankly, so I'm not surprised that's too high.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to think of, like, did Moses Malone ever play for the Warriors? That'd be the only other one that I can think of where, and I don't remember if he played for the Warriors, so because he played for so many like random ABA teams too. He would add 10K, but if Moses didn't have 10K, like, I mean, I don't
is there?
Nobody that I can think of that
like
played
even recently. They've always gone.
I mean, the recent guys are like Shaq, Tim Duncan, Dwight Howard, like KG. None of them played for the Warriors.
No, but like a Zach Randolph or who else do we always talk about? It's like right over 10 on the list. Boris.
Even like Drummond. Drummond didn't play for them.
Yeah. Marc Gasol and stuff like that. They're not there.
No. I mean, there's definitely some like 70s guys that I think of. Like our guy, Jacksonville native, Artis Gilmore, but I have no idea if he played there.
Artis. Did I tell you I saw him like when we were walking around TPC, the one.
No, yeah, he's around. He was at the preseason game we went to back in the day.
Yeah. The guy that does the fishing show, I guess, played basketball with him in high school. It's like they talk about it a lot. Yeah, they talk about it a lot. It's pretty cool.
The only other you know what? Who worked for the Warriors besides we got to go deep in the boomer bag again. Nate Thurmond. Nate Thurmond would work for Warriors in 10K for sure.
You want to go Nate then? Because
I think Nate's going to be lower than Wilt. So
Nate Thurmond, 64 to 77. There you go. They don't even got color in the photo.
Straight up. Oh, yeah. No, listen. He's playing a different era, man. They're playing Warriors like low-key might have been still the San Francisco Warriors then, honestly.
True that. All right. So then
10 game and 10K rebound, you tell me, buddy. I mean, do you want to do Artis? I feel like Artis is going to be, I mean, he had to have had 10 a game, right?
I would think so, but
There's no way he didn't have 10 a game. It is a Hall of Famer and has 10K
there you go,
rebounds.
artist.
Okay. Yeah, nice.
0.9% too is crazy. All right, so then we just need our Bucks row. So Bucks Warriors, Bucks Mavs, Bucks 10 points per game. Bucks 10 points per game. We could go Lopez.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that works. I don't know. I mean, I think you got a lot of options there for sure, to say the least. I mean, off the top, Chris Middleton, Giannis, Brook Lopez, Drew Holiday, Eric Bledsoe, Ray Allen.
Dame was probably doing at least 10
Dame
when
was
he was
definitely
there.
doing 10 a game. Glenn Robinson was probably doing 10 a game there.
You said Middleton, right?
Yeah, Chris Middleton. Sam Cassell was probably doing 10 a game there. Michael Redd was doing 10 a game there.
Who was there right before they got Giannis?
Michael Redd was their best player right before they got Giannis.
Ooh,
I mean,
OJ Mayo?
So that's funny. OJ Mayo, I was going to talk about for Dallas.
Yeah, he ended up on Dallas. Yeah.
OJ Mayo definitely works for Dallas and Bucks. OJ Mayo probably had 10 a game for Milwaukee too, though. So I mean, do you want to use him? I
guess my thing is, do you feel like you have another Bucks Mavs in the chamber for a connect?
Well, Chris Middleton's the obvious one.
Middleton,
we could break glass and do Chris Middleton if worst comes to worst. But I do actually have another one in the chamber. We use him a lot, but our guy Wesley Matthews does also work for Dallas and Bucks.
Wesley Matthews.
I don't want to keep using Wes, but like he does work there.
Let's do OJ at 10 a game. I bet that's low.
Yeah, I think it'll be low.
Yeah, 0.3. There we go. So you want to go Wes for Bucks and Mavs?
Yeah, I want to I'm trying to remember. Did Sam Cassell play for the Mavs? I don't know. He might have, though. Wes will be lower, though, right?
Maybe.
Chris Middleton will be high.
I don't know if another one.
So do Sam Cassell, man. We got to switch it up. I don't want to keep using Wes. We've been using Wes too much recently.
What's his name? Who went from the Sixers to the Bucks? Did he ever play for the Mavs before Ilyasova?
He might have. The other person that just dawned on me is Charlie Villanueva. Only because he posted. Charlie Villanueva posted a hilarious Russell Westbrook retirement thing because he got in the way of him and Campaign dancing at one time, and that was hilarious. So we got to do Villanueva off the strength of that. That was so funny.
Right here, Villanueva.
Yeah, he definitely works for there. I'm positive.
Charlie,
nice, hell yeah.
All right, and last but not least, Bucks Warriors.
It's crazy that the number one is probably going to be Dante DiVincenzo. That's my probably number one answer right there. I think because it was recent.
Who was on the other side of that?
I think he
just
go? Free agent, wasn't he? I think he's a free agent.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember. Because he won the title with the Bucks.
Yep, and then he went there, and he's been playing well there. Well,
he hasn't played there in like 4 years, but I feel you.
It played well there, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, he did.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. Besides DiVincenzo,
because don't they do the running joke with DiVincenzo being out and not on the All Nova team with the Knicks?
He got a ring. He got a ring before then, though, which is nice. But I mean, low-key Zaza works there too.
Zaza's a good one.
Zaza works. DiVincenzo works. Richard Jefferson works there, low-key.
Oh, that's a good one.
The other one, Bogut. Bogut's the big one. I think Bogut might be number one there.
Bogut would be a good one. I forgot about Bogut.
Because he got drafted number one overall by the Bucks, of course.
What do you think Bogut's career rebounds is at?
He's got to be probably between 5 and 10K.
Let's see. Andrew Bogut. I forgot about him.
I'm looking now.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. Andrew Bogut. Where's the totals? Here it is. Totals, rebounds.
6,112.
Okay. I don't know. I guess dealer's choice. Who do you want to roll with?
Let's do Richard Jefferson. I feel he's the most random one there.
Richard.
I think Monta Ellis would have worked too. I just thought of that late.
Monta Ellis.
Nice,
yeah.
2%. Okay.
2%'s good.
That's a little lower than I expected, but I'll take it.
Which one were we worried about? 10K rebounders, 6 for...
Yeah. I mean, we got 2 of them.
But it's not going to give us...
No, and that's the thing. I don't feel like sorting through all these.
No, I hate that it doesn't give team like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's annoying. All right. Rudy. It's crazy Rudy's already there. Vooch.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Dolph Shays, I think, might have worked for the Warriors. I don't know. I'm not 100% there on any of these guys at all.
Artists right there. They're number 5.
Dude. Yeah. Wow. Damn. I did not realize he was that high. I mean, 10K makes sense, but okay. All right. Let's So let's go to the most popular answers and scroll down. Yeah, so it was Donte DiVincenzo for Bucks and Warriors. Damn, recency bias there. I swore Bogut would be higher. All right, so Donte DiVincenzo for Bucks and Warriors, Wilt Chamberlain for Warriors and 10K rebounds, Andrew Bogut for Warriors born outside the U.S., Jason Terry, wow, we even mentioned the Jet for Bucks and Mavericks. Dirk Nowitzki for Mavs, 10K rebounds, and Luka for Mavs born outside the U.S., Giannis, Bucks 10 a game per season, Shaq 10K rebounds and 10 a game per season, and Nikola Jokic for 10 a game per season and born outside the U.S. Our grid one last time, if we want to recap, we got Richard Jefferson for Bucks and Warriors. We got Nate Thurman for Warriors, 10,000 career rebounds. Buddy Hield, Warriors born outside the U.S. Charlie Villanueva for Bucks and Mavericks. DeAndre Jordan for Mavericks, 10K career rebounds. Dante Exum, Mavericks born outside the U.S. OJ Mayo for Bucks, 10 points a game per season. Artis Gilmore for 10 a game per season and 10,000 career rebounds. And Dennis Schroeder for 10 points a game per season and born outside the U.S. 50 states in Washington, D.C. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Appreciate you guys as always. Wherever you can find a podcast, you can find us. Leave us a review on iTunes. We will read it on the show.
And we're on YouTube. Just search Drive and Dish NBA on YouTube. You can watch a video version of the podcast there.